We're back. Hopefully our technical difficulties are over for today. Sorry for those that were watching before. We got disconnected. The joys of doing a live broadcast. Doesn't always go the way you want it to go. So once again, thank you for joining me. It's our weekly appointment, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on the Lake Country Manufacturing YouTube channel and also the Facebook channel. Today we're talking about microfiber pads, specifically these. The has a few advantages over the standard. Yes, John, we are live. So the HDO, we'll start with the blue, which is the most aggressive of the three pads. The HDO versus the standard microfiber pads, the first difference is the shape. So if we look at this microfiber pad versus the blue one, you notice the angle on the side. Now the HDO is designed specifically for long stroke machines, and this angle is needed first of all for the safety, to keep your backing plate recessed from the edge, but also it's enough of an angle that the pressure exerted will go down to the surface. So of course Lake Country engineers all their pads and does a lot of design work, and if your angle is too much, you create a dry buffing area or an area without contact. So this is where that angle comes in. The other difference with the HDO versus the standard microfiber line is the center hole. So this center hole allows for better cooling, and with the long stroke machine you need a lot of cooling. With standard DA, so an 8mm throw, the standard profile works great. There's no need to step up to the HDO. But if you are using a long stroke machine, so 15 or 21mm, the HDO has a lot of advantages in the microfiber. The HDO line has a lot of advantages regardless, but the microfibers have a lot of advantages. The three microfiber blends or cutting capacities, we have the blue, which is the aggressive cutting, almost close to a wool pad in terms of aggressiveness. Next we have the orange, also known as the one-step pad, and it is a great one-step pad. Works well, lasts a long time. They're just a great all-around pad. And this is actually my favorite of the microfiber line. This is the black finishing pad. Now, a lot of people don't necessarily finish with microfiber. They try to finish with a foam, or they finish with a foam. But this is a great finishing pad, and it has one other use that is not known enough as far as I'm concerned, and that is metal polishing. So if you do any metal polishing, this is the ultimate in finishing pads for metal polish. On your long stroke machine or on your short stroke machine, it's going to give the clarity of reflection that you want from your aluminum, your copper, your brass. Any of the softer metals, this is spectacular to use with. So please give that a try. Next time you're polishing metal, get one of these and use this as your finishing step. You'll thank me later. But back to the cutting pad. So the cutting pad, this blue pad, is designed specifically for cutting. And depending on the product you're using, it can be used as a one-step pad as well. But for one-stepping, we have our orange pad, and this is the king of the one-step. If you like doing one-steps, if you like using microfiber, this is it. Now, the other use for these two pads that a lot of people don't know is actually cleaning leather seats. So for cleaning leather seats, use your leather shampoo of choice, put it on the pad, and then polish the seat with your long stroke or even short stroke dual action machine. Don't use a rotary for this, but the dual action, what it does with the fibers is it moves the fibers around on the leather surface, getting really deep into the surface. And I've tried brushes, I've tried many different things, and you can clean the way you normally clean with a brush, with a micro suede brush, whatever, and then clean over that same area. Just do one pass with the same cleaner, so the same chemical, but with a microfiber pad, and you'll be amazed at the difference that you get. And a lot less effort, a lot less work. So microfiber pads have advantages not only on paint, but also on leather and on metal. The other nice thing about microfiber pads is their durability. And they have one thing that you can do with a microfiber pad is use compressed air to clean it. So on a foam pad, not necessarily a welcome thing for the foam to be cleaned with compressed air, but a microfiber pad you can clean with compressed air. So you can use either the standard blowgun or tornador, and you want to blow across the surface. You don't want to blow into the surface. So you want to blow across the surface. Always, please, wear a mask. In this COVID pandemic, we're used to wearing masks now. So when you're cleaning your pads, when you're creating dust, please wear a mask. It's not just for COVID anymore. So wear your personal protection equipment all the time. It's not like the 70s when it wasn't cool. We're now in 2020, 50 years later, you can wear a mask. It's going to help you out at the end of the day and at the end of the year and at the end of your life. So wearing a mask, but when you're blowing these out, blow across, not in. You can clean them that way. They obviously can be cleaned with the System 3000D, which is my preferred method, or you can use a pad brush as well. So microfiber pads are very user-friendly. One thing you do have to be careful of is cleaning your pads. If you put them in a washing machine, yes, it'll work excellent on the Rupes or any long throw machine. What you want to do is, if you put them in the washing machine, more than 10 pads at a time, and also cold water only. And you don't want to put these in the dryer. First of all, microfiber does not react well to heat. If you're any of your microfiber salespeople that sell you the regular microfiber cloths that we use in detailing, the general consensus is 140 degrees Fahrenheit or 60 degrees Celsius is the upper temperature limit that a microfiber sustain without being damaged. So that's something you have to be cautious of or cognizant of when you're not only cleaning them, but also when you're polishing with them. So you want to keep that surface temperature down to keep the microfiber cool. And again, that's where the HDO microfibers come into play with this center hole that's designed for cooling. It's not just, a lot of people think the center hole is designed for helping aligning the pad, which it's great at doing, but the center hole is actually engineered into these pads for cooling. So that's one of the advantages of this pad. Having that center hole will keep it cool, will keep your foam lasting longer, and your microfiber lasting longer as well. Do we have pads to apply coatings? Yes, we do have applicators. If you look in our catalog, it's near the back of the catalog. There's a variety of applicators that are available. Whatever your coating of choice is, check with the manufacturer of that coating. They will have a suggested applicator, and a lot of times it's ours. So give that a try. Applying coatings. Sorry, we had a little glitch there, but I think we're back. So the one-step pad, again, you'll want to use it with. The other aspect of this is the durability of these pads. So they do last a very long time. So it's a wise investment if you don't have a pad washer to get a multitude of them and keep them. And when you're doing the car, do every section with a different pad. That way you're not overloading them with stock, you're not overloading them with paint residue, and your pads are going to last longer because they're staying cool. Yes, Sean, you did speak with me earlier today. So if you have technical questions, when you call Lake Country, many times they'll pass the call on to me. So happy, I hope I helped you out, Sean. And the polishing with a rotary on a boat, gel coat specifically, is a great way of doing it. Lake Country going to come up with a low profile foam pad for the DA polisher. That I'm not the person that can answer that question. That's engineering. But I know a lot of different engineering solutions are coming. There's always innovation at Lake Country. And let me see what the rest of your question is, though. Yeah, so similar to the CCS pads. The low profile pads, people like them because of their aggressiveness, but at the same time, they have some slight disadvantages. One of them is heat control. So The engineering challenge is to make a pad that has the aggressiveness of the low profile pad, but without the possibility of overheating it too much. So that's one of the engineering challenges in making a true low profile foam pad. It's very easy to take our pads, cut them in half, for lack of a better term. That's not how they're made, but using a thinner foam, put a Velcro on it and make pads. But the goal of any pad designed by Lake Country is to make sure that the pad is going to be durable, is going to be safe, is going to perform as expected. And that's where the engineering part of Lake Country comes in. There's a whole group of people dedicated just to designing these pads and improving them, and testing new foams, testing new manufacturing methods. So everything is made in-house in one of the two factories. One of them is in Ohio, one of them is in Wisconsin. And yes, our CCS pads are amazing. They are definitely a Lake Country exclusive, and it's a technology that was developed in-house that is only used by us, and it's made a big difference in the pad industry. The CCS is by far our most popular line of pads, or the CCS finish on the pad. You can use a flat pad, but the CCS pad just has a lot of advantages. One of the advantages is cooler surface. The other is breaking surface tension, so you have a better user experience. And that user experience meaning that it's not pulling you around. You have more control over your polishing. And the CCS, another thing that it does is if you load up those little dots with polish, you can start polishing, and if you want a little more polish, give a little nudge on the pad just to press it against the surface a little more, and it'll release more polish onto the surface. That's a neat little thing. The HDO line on soft paint, yes. So we have 2 pads that work really well for that. On soft paint, this finishing microfiber pad, and also the HDO finishing foam pad, which is black as well. One of my favorite traits to mention when selling a ceramic coating to a customer, number of things. First of all, it is there to save them time. They're not going to be washing their cars often. They're not going to be having to clean their cars often. The other thing is vanity. We like our cars to look good, and the ceramic coating will help with that. The other thing is resale value, and a lot of people don't think about that, but if you buy a car today, drive it for 3 years, bring it back without changing the oil, bring it back to the dealership just before you get on the dealership lot, stop at a Jiffy Lube, have the oil changed, it hasn't affected the value of the vehicle 1 penny. Take that same new car, don't wash it, don't maintain it, have an ugly surface, take it to the car wash right before going to trade it in, and your value will be diminished greatly. So having a coating on a car is going to help maintain that resale value. I won't mention investment, because investments are, a vehicle is not necessarily an investment, it's a cost in life. Some collector cars are investments now, but our daily drivers, it's not an investment. And a good friend of mine, Dan Williams, he never called himself a detailer. He called himself an investment protection specialist. So that's a good way of looking at it. Good morning, Zai. Where are you from? If you can let us know. We have, luckily on these broadcasts, we have international people watching from people from all over the world. So it's not just a North American Facebook Live. I notice we have Marcin here from Poland, and we have people from all over the world. So when you say hello, put what country you're from. You're welcome, David. And the other things coming up, we also have a lot of microfiber products, but Lake Country also makes micro wool products, and there's a new one coming up in the Udos line, which is a completely rethink and redesign of the wool, or the micro wool line. And when we get to featuring from Los Angeles, there we go, Trinidad, wow. So we have again, international. This is great. And yes, Marcin, I know you're in Poland, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning, so thank you for staying up. well, oh yes, the new micro wool pads with the Udos line, very revolutionary, very different. It's a textured wool surface, very short nap, so you're going to get amazing cut out of it, but great finish as well. In testing, personally testing the pads, I found it's a very aggressive one-step pad. So your one-step product that you normally use, you'll actually get more cut out of it using that pad, but you'll get the same nice finish that you're used to using. We also make foamed wool in a 1/4 inch finish. Excellent, John. It's all I've run in my shops for 30 years. Now, I sold my shops, but for at least 30 years, all we used was Lake Country pads. They're great. Oh, 7:20, so not too bad. We're on the same time frame, Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, so the Lake Country pad line is varied. There's a lot of choice, and there's a pad for every polisher, and not every polisher likes the same pads. So that is why we have such a variety, and that variety is important. That variety is also engineered, so there's not a lot of overlaps. Each pad line has its own specific purpose. There are rotary pads, there are DA pads, and for short stroke, for forced rotation, and for long stroke pads, like the HDO line. Oh, sorry, wrong one. There we go. Like the HDO line, designed specifically for long stroke machines. Now, I'll work on a short stroke machine as well, but on a long stroke machine, this will be your best value in terms of pads, is using an HDO pad. The microfiber pads, they're a great value as well. Long-lasting pad, fun to use, and if you're just starting out in detailing, get yourself a couple of these and get a couple foam pads and get a wool pad or two, and just see what fits your style the best. You can go online. There's many groups that are on Facebook. There's forums. There's a lot of different sources of information, and a lot of the wiser ones will tell you, find your own system. Find what works for you. And when you find what works for you, keep using it. Keep perfecting that system for yourself. Now, it's great to try different stuff once in a while, but once you've found that design that you like, that pad that you like, exploit it. Get to know it as deeply as you can. Same thing with the chemicals you're using. Get to know them as deeply as you can. That way, when you run into an issue, you'll be able to diagnose the issue, and you'll be able to solve the issue without having to go out and buy another pad, another polisher, or another chemical. So pad choice is very important, and it's very personal. So once again, pads are, I've mentioned this many times in these lives, but what pad works for me may not work for you, and vice versa. That being said, the orange, you have a jeweling pad for the DA, something even softer than the black pad. Ooh, sorry, lost you there. Well, let me see. So, if you go to the back of our catalog, there is a pad aggressiveness chart, and that catalog is available online. I'm sure a link will be posted very shortly. Gene, who is running the back end of this, who signs on as Lake Country Manufacturing, is great at putting links up. Thank you very much. So does a wonderful job. So when you look at our catalog, there's an aggressiveness chart that states many of the pads at the back, and you'll be able to compare those pads, which pad you're using for. Now, jeweling, or that really deep gloss enhancement, I personally find that using a rotary is actually my preferred way of doing that. But again, it's personal preference. So if you want to try a black pad with a rotary, a black foam pad with rotary, and give that a try compared to your DA, you may be surprised at the difference the rotary makes. Now, if you're using a rotary for finishing, and I know it's not common, you'll want to be extremely low speed, so as low speed as that rotary will go. So you want to be 1,000 RPM or lower. No pressure on the machine, very slow arm movement, and keep the pad flat. And just, think of it as meditating almost. You're moving slowly, you're out. You're not trying to correct paint. You're just trying to make it as glossy and as shiny as possible. So treat it, treat it like you're caressing the paint, which would be a great term. So you're caressing the paint with a polisher, and don't overload your pad with too much product. For jeweling or for finishing, you want to keep that pad, again, slow. You want to keep it no pressure to it, and move slowly across the surface, and you'll see the results. On a DA, if you're having issues with micro marring using a black pad or a very soft pad, sometimes you can actually step up to a firmer pad, and stepping up to a firmer pad will give you a better clarity of finish than you would with a soft pad. So that's something that you have to be cautious of and knowledgeable of. So if you are having micro marring issues with your soft finishing pads, on your long stroke DA, you may want to check out or try one of your cutting pads, cutting foam pads for that, and it may correct the issue for you. I know a lot of detailers have an issue with black GMC or GM paint with the finishing of it with a long stroke DA, and my solution has always been to use a firmer pad when you're using the DA, or use a rotary. But the rotary is my personal go-to for finishing difficult paints, or for finishing most paints. Then the DA. I use the DA for cutting, and I use the rotary for finishing, which I know is not standard in the industry. It's a little backwards as far as most people are concerned, but it works for me. So that's my take on it for that. And exactly, that's why you do a test panel. A test spot is essential in anything you're doing. The only time a test spot, you may or may, it's optional. If you're doing this professionally and your customer has asked you just to do a quick one step on the vehicle, they just want a bit of gloss enhancement, they're not looking for correction, then you can go with your combination that you know well, and that's economical for you, economical for the customer, and gives the results that the customer is after. As detailers, we're always striving for perfection. We always want to do a full-on wet sand and paint correction to every vehicle that we touch. But it's not practical, for one. Secondly, for the customer, that may not be what they're after. That may not be what they want. That may not be what they need. So if you're looking for a great one-step solution, we actually call this in the catalog a one-step pad. So the orange HDO or orange microfiber pads, so it's a white microfiber, orange foam, gives you that great blend of cut and finish for those one-step projects. And do we have any other questions? No. Gene, what's up for next week? Just to give them a teaser. So we'll see a link coming soon as to what I'm talking about next week. Next week, if all goes well, we may actually be able to do a little live demonstration as well. As I mentioned earlier, I'm back in Canada, and crossing the Canadian border, I had to sign a paper saying for 14 days I am staying away from everybody. I'm not allowed to go to stores. I'm not allowed to go to the grocery store. I'm not allowed to see my family. Cut back DA pads and LC originals. That's what we're talking about next week. So up until next Friday, I won't be able to do a live demonstration next week. It'll be the following week. Up until Friday, I'm stuck in the bus. We can't go anywhere outside of our home. That way, we curb the spread of the pandemic, whether we have it or not. It's just a standard issue. You just want to hear about the new bus. Well, you can check that out on YouTube. Phil, wool, I love wool pads. So wool has a lot of great characteristics. One of them is surface cooling. People have the feeling that a wool pad has always been an aggressive pad for cutting, and the standard 4-ply wool pad that we use on the rotary actually keeps the surface cooler than a foam pad. So I love wool pads for that. Wool pads are great for cutting, and I use some in regards to using okay, thank you, John. So back to the other question though. So we also have the foamed wool, which is a great, amazing product. Again, exclusive to Lake Country, but it's very, very versatile in what it does. Using with the short nap, so it's available in 1/4 inch. It's a very aggressive cutting pad, especially on the DA. And then with the longer nap, the 3/4 or the 1 inch, great on a rotary and great finishing as well. We also have the low lint wool pads, which are designed almost like this. It's a foam backing plate or a foam backer with a very small wool. Yeah, so you will use wool to cut and HDO blue to finish. Great combination. But the low lint wool, which we'll get into in a couple of weeks, or eventually as we move along, will give you the same sort of user feel as the microfiber, but with less heat generation. So there are advantages to wool. Wool is a lot of people see it as a traditional product, and yes, it has been around for a long time, and it's been the mainstay of the industry for a reason, because it works, and it works well. Now we have foam, we have microfiber, and we have new variations of wool. As I mentioned before, the new variations of wool are coming. The first one that you'll see is with our Udos 51E. When the tool is introduced, the pads will be introduced as well. And there's 3 pads with that machine. The pads have been designed specifically for that machine because no other machine combines a rotary and a DA in one machine. And some pads are great on a rotary, okay on a DA, and inversely you have pads that are exceptionally well on a DA, that on a rotary, they work, but they're not the ultimate solution. So what Lake Country has done is designed completely new foams, completely new surfaces just for the Udos machine, so you can use the same pad for a rotary and a DA with equal results, with equal ease and durability. Oh, Phil, 56, you're not old. Come on, we're still young at this age. We just, some of us have a little less hair. That's about it. I actually feel better now at 56 than I did at 46. So we're doing well. We're doing well. Other than that, next week we'll be talking about LC Originals, so Lake Country Original pads, and the cutback DA. So if you're a DA user and you haven't tried the cutback DA, definitely worth a listen and worth a try as well. So automotive polishes will work on gel coat. Gel coat specific products, there are some out there that are great. There are some that, they're rebottled automotive products. So it's, once again, you need to try them. You need to give it a shout out. And you need to experiment with what works for you. If you're working on gel coat, one thing that's important that a lot of people don't do first, and it comes down to residue control, is to actually clean your gel coat with a very strong APC first. So cleaning your gel coat with the all-purpose cleaner, what it will do is remove a lot of the oxidized gel coat from the surface, saving you time in polishing, and your pads will last longer, you'll generate less heat, and you'll get that finish you want a lot faster. So a little trick from an old guy, use a APC on your gel coat, and the chalkier it is, the more you need APC. Just to clean it up, stiff brush, and rinse it well, let it dry, and then start polishing. Do we have any other questions? Ben Tryon, you're asking about our bus. So yes, we have a new bus, and if you want to learn all about it, just look up Lacroix Cruiser on any of the social media, and you'll be able to follow it there. It just happens that the Lacroix Cruiser name has the initials LC in it, like Lake Country, so there's a bit of a tie in there. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate everybody that watches. Again, this is available for viewing on the Lake Country Manufacturing Facebook page and also on the YouTube channel. So you can check out Lake Country MFG on the YouTube channel. If you need to get a hold of me, it's ivan.lacroix@lakecountrymfg.com. I'm available there. Obviously, you can find me online as well. Feel free to send me messages. I always answer. Okay. Well, thank you, Ben. You've been heard, you've been seen, you've been read. So, and thanks for watching. If you have any questions, thank you, Phil. Yes, Lake Country the best. It's one of the reasons I joined the team. I've been using the pads for well over 30 years and always had great results. So when they opened their door to me, I had to step my foot inside. It's a wonderful company, and great people, but also they're innovators in the field. So innovation is part of the culture of Lake Country Manufacturing, and it allows everyone to really grow. When ideas are brought to the table, they're listened to and they're explored, which is great. So thank you, Varun, and from that, thank you very much. We'll see you again next week, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on the Lake Country Manufacturing Facebook page. You can watch this again on YouTube, and if you miss it at any point, they're all loaded onto YouTube. So thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.